Hold on. We are
Akira's here.
alive. There is only like one person, I guarantee you. Yes,
There's
one.
three.
Three.
Oh,
You
it's
can
the
see
three of us.
three. There's three of us. It's you, me, and
Akira.
Akira. Akira loves to change her
Oh,
name. Oh, Sherry's on too.
Sherry's here. That's
I,
good.
I'm going to wait until everybody comes in because I got pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, I got pictures of all the trees that snapped in half. Reason why I'm on is to let you know, holy cow, what a crazy thing that's happened. It's been nuts. I'm telling you, the when you see the pictures of all the trees and all the they were taking pictures with a drone, and the drone wasn't it was flying over, and all you can see is white, but you can't see the down trees until you go driving on the roads. So it's I'm gonna give people a little bit of time if they want to come in, if they come in at all. And hi Sharon, my Louie. Yeah, I'm safe, but you're all gonna laugh at this. I have no water now. The water main broke because of the ice. I'm like, ah, dang it. Yeah, I got to get my shower this morning, a nice hot shower. Then I'm like, great, now the water is brown. I'm
Oh
like, oh my
no.
gosh. Like, what could happen next to me? But yeah, give me about I'm gonna wait for like maybe 15, 20 minutes before I start showing you the pictures. But you're gonna be like, holy my friend took me to the store. He was so kind. He has a 4x4. So of course they're all writing me still. And everybody's writing me, are you okay? Is everything all right? Yes, it's fine. I'm fine. Leave me alone. But but yeah, my water, yeah, our water pipes, it went to -2 yesterday. And who is this? Rick Hira. Hiru. That sounds almost like Akira's
I think
name.
that's Akira's husband.
Really? Glad to see
He was a
you.
Derek mentioned that he was in a live somewhere else.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, pronounce his name for me, Akira, just like you wrote on your little name there, where everybody's got to figure out her name is Akira. Which we all knew it was Akira, except for Steven keeps calling her Akira. Or what is it, Kira or Kiri? I I'm waiting for him to call
It's
her
funny.
Ikea. IKEA. I'm waiting for him to call her IKEA.
That's
But
funny. It should be pronounced Riku
Riku. Okay.
if it's
Good.
the
I'm
Japanese
happy to see you.
erotic.
I finally get to meet the other half of the half that's always here before me. How? How
I
does
know
she do
she's
it?
always in the lives before we even get here.
It's like she's mine. She's an alien. She can see. She changed her name so that Steven stopped calling her Kyra.
Oh gosh, I've corrected him. I'm
I
correcting
know
him
we
a
all
couple times.
corrected him. He
But
still does it.
like Steven says, he slept since then. So cracks me
He's
up
such
with
a
these
nut.
things that he says. It's he is such a wonderful, joyful brother, and I think that's why I enjoy him so much
Yeah, he's a
because he's
nutcase.
really I know. He's just I mean, he's the whole reason I it was so funny because he had said to me, he's like, I'm gonna put you in a live with Barbara. And I was thinking, we don't even know each other. I'm like,
Yeah, we
Steven,
never
I've never even
met.
gone live. I don't know how, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to talk about, like, what does this entail? Because they put it like Brother Derek and Brother Shane, they got some serious lives going on, right? I don't have
Yeah.
time to do what they do. So when he said that, I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, this isn't going to happen.
And then we got together and here we are.
Yeah, and then something happened. I had that dream or something, and I messaged him. I texted him, and I'm like, can you please tell Barbara I want to talk to her? He's like, yeah, I'll give you her number. And I'm thinking, okay,
Oh, you
just go
gotta
ahead,
hear
just
this.
connect people.
you got to hear this yesterday, last night, before the electricity came on. Just before, like few minutes before the electricity came on. You have got to hear what freaked me out. I said, "Yes, Lord, I can't wait until." And I was going to say, when the electricity came on, I said, "I can't wait until we go home." And I'm like, "What?" It just came out. I didn't even think to say that. I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking the electricity. I was not thinking about we going home. I want to go home, yes. But I'm like, well, okay, I'll take that. Like, I'll take that. So
I
we're
have
just
to
waiting.
say,
Go ahead.
I have to say, this month has felt more like we're going home than
Oh,
any other
yeah.
time before. I think
Everybody
even
feels in the spirit. It's in the spirit. We're all here. We're going.
uh,
I'm sorry. We're going home. I could feel it.
this,
And when I said what I said, I was saying, I seriously was saying, "Oh Lord, thank you. I know we're gonna." And I went to say electricity. I know we're going home. Going home just came right out without me saying electricity. I was thinking electricity, but my spirit said going home, and I'm like, "Oh, wait till I tell Bay what just came out of my mouth." And I said,
I,
"Lord, I can't wait till the electricity come on so I can see it." And then boom, I heard this big explosion, and then my lights went on. I'm like, "What the heck is this?" And come to find
Jesus,
out, the transformer down the street blew up. People across the street lost their electricity. People down the road lost their electricity. Gentleman that's not my neighbor, my other neighbor after him, he has an electric line down, so they still don't have electricity. They have to fix the line. I'm like, I am blessed because yeah, my heat is still running, but it's up to 70, so I'm okay. But I get to show you guys pictures. I'm waiting for, let's see, it's 107. I'm waiting till like 1:15 to show you all the pictures because I went. I'm going to tell you all what I told Bay. I went driving with my neighbor. He was very nice. He says, "If you need to go shopping, let's go." So I grabbed my stuff. He has a 4x4 Silverado, which is really nice. It's got internet. It's got everything. I mean, it has everything. Yeah, you press start. You don't turn the key like I do. And right now it's 29 degrees, and yes, it's 29 degrees. But we're waiting. We got the sun out. It's melting my driveway. And my son's like, "Well, if you go out, we won't have to go to the driveway." And uh, so he took me to the store. And on the way back, he said, "Go ahead and take pictures while I'm driving." I took pictures in a few minutes, just in case a lot of the people, show up late, like old man Gib did. Hello. Like I said, someone will show up late, they'll miss all the pictures. I do have pictures of the trees, the everything's tomorrow. I'll also put up more pictures because I'm going to show you pictures of my house. Now, hear this. Y'all gonna freak out. You're gonna be like, "What?" Everybody, like it did with those storms I had, everybody's trees were snapping and breaking and falling into their yards, and I didn't get any. I've got some, but not close to the house like they have. And I'm like, God's got this
thank you,
house.
Jesus.
He's just watching over me and watching over everybody here. And I forgot to pray yesterday morning because I was so cold. It was, uh, it was -2 in the house, and you could see my breath coming out. Yeah, it was freaking weird. I'm like, gee, I feel like I'm outside. But it was cold. Man, everything was frozen. I mean, the cars were frozen. The houses, they were like, you've seen those houses where they're like a sheet of ice. Yeah, that was us, a sheet of ice. But it was it that storm really hit hard because I've never seen it like this. And I heard somebody say that Derek said that the trees explode. And I said, I said that one live. I said, the trees do explode. And now, wait till you hear what happened. A friend of mine lives up a little bit farther from me, but still in Tennessee. Her rocks in the ground are exploding because it's so cold. Her rocks, all the rocks in there, she says, I hear the boom. And a surveyor
That's
came and says,
crazy.
yeah, surveyor came and says, uh, no, it's not your trees, it's your rocks. Your rocks are so cold, they're exploding. And I'm like, what? And so come to find out, the rocks in my backyard in the woods, they're exploding. And yeah, there is such thing as freeze quakes, which is going to happen. Akira, I hope you're,
Interesting.
yeah, Akira is going to be, if you're still in West Virginia or somewhere in that area, there is a big, it's called a bomb cyclone that they're called it. It's a like a cold ice cyclone, but with the hot the hot weather coming from the south and the cold temperatures coming from the north and uh, the east going into there, it's gonna blow them right off the map. I mean, literally, right now they're all preparing. You didn't hear anything about that? Oh, you better look it up because they were talking about it's called a bomb cyclone because it's so big and it's going to go up the coast. It's going to hit North Carolina, South Carolina. It's going to hit West Virginia, Virginia, New Jersey, all the way up. It's going all the way up. And yeah, well, if you're in West Virginia, keep a lookout. What's his name? Max Velocity. Look on Max Velocity. His video. I watch him all the time. He shows you what's going on, when it is, what temperatures are. He's really good. You know, I watch my regular news, but this guy, he's right on top of it, and he always has a live. And yeah, you got snow now, but wait, I think it's going to hit. I'm not if I'm not mistaken, it'll be hitting next week around Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Just take a look at his videos and his recent ones, and you'll hear it. It's a bomb cyclone. I've never heard of a bomb cyclone. And yeah, they have freezing quakes. Yeah, exactly. They have that here too. So that's freaky, man. But since
That's
we're almost
scary.
there, huh?
I said, that's
It,
scary.
it's scary. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, everyone? Somehow. Hold on. Here we go. Here's your trees. Now I'm going to be jumping from place to place. If I can bring up one that's really, oh, there. That one is really close. I don't know if you see that. Yeah, you do. Okay. So I'm going to slide through these. These are the pictures that I took on my way home. So you can see all the branches, more trees. They're all coming down. I don't know how close you can see it, but there's a car. This red car is being hit by this tree branch. It came right down on the car. That's my neighbors. And look, there's another tree. I don't know if you all can see this, but, and Bay, you're going to have to tell me if they can see it. But,
I can see it.
So you can see how it's so bad. That tree is just destroyed. I mean, most of them, you have to pardon me, he was driving, but it's practically destroyed. Everything. There's nothing. I should have took pictures of the wires hanging down. One of them's over here. But I was taking pictures of all there's this tree. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I think that's my last one. Yeah, but
That is crazy.
it was just nuts. I mean, the trees, now later I'm going to be showing, tomorrow, I'm going to bring up some more because I'm going to show you all the trees around my house. And it's going to be, I have a tree that's a pine tree. It's never been knocked down from any weather we've ever had in the last 15 years. And now I took part of that tree and brought it right down. It's gone. And I'm like, wow, I've never seen an ice storm like this. So if you haven't seen any of my other little uh, pictures or videos, because I took some videos and sent them out while the thing was off. Yeah, ooh, I hear you, old man. Yeah, those are pretty bad. But yeah, it sounded like it was breaking trees. Yeah, the trees explode and you can hear it just like a tree when it's being chopped down. It goes and the minute it hits the ground, it's not like a regular branch hitting the ground. It's like the whole tree hitting the ground when it's just the branch because of all the ice on it. It was just madness. I was like, I couldn't believe it. But now we don't have any water because the ice decided, you know what, I'm going to freeze your pipes too. So now we don't have any water. All our water is brown. And I'm like,
That is
oh, great.
awful.
Yeah. So I got my shower today before the water went. And I'm like, oh. My daughter's like, I'm
At least you
supposed
got
to
to
finish. Huh?
at least you got to get a nice hot shower.
Yeah, me and my
Thank
son.
God.
But my daughter, she didn't. She,
Uh-oh,
mm.
poor thing.
Yeah, she's like, dang it, I gotta wait. I said, they'll fix it. We called and said, hey, our water's out. Next door neighbor said the same thing. Yeah, we're trying to fix the main lines. I'm like, whatever. Yeah, some people are still without power. Like I was telling her, my neighbor next door, when the power went out, it was fine. When the power went out, when the power came back, though, one of the transformers just exploded. Literally, it went, and I jumped out of my bed, and my cat jumped off my bed, and my lights went on. I'm like, oh, we got electricity, but what was that blowing up? And I was like, oh, here we go again. I know there's something going on, but come to find out, my neighbor across the street doesn't have any power because of that. My other neighbor, he has a wire hanging across his yard. A couple of my other neighbors, come to find out, they don't have any electricity either. So it's like give and take, certain people have it, certain people don't. Like, wow, it's just nuts. And my whole driveway was a sheet of ice. You couldn't even walk on it. That's how bad it was. It was really, really
Wow.
bad. And the people down the street, a couple uh houses down, they have a, a drug addict house. And so someone must have went off on drugs because, and I don't care if anyone hears this, because of the ambulance and the fire truck went down to go save that person. I'm like, wow, this is really getting bad. But and they went like 5 miles per hour going down. They couldn't go down because it was so icy, and you can hear the crunching underneath their wheels. So you can imagine that 5 to 6,000 pound truck crunching the ice. It was bad. It was really, 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 really bad. But I'm trying to think of everything that happened because everybody, my kids and I were blessed. We had a fireplace, but it was a gas fireplace. and the old man's grandson came up with a propane tank. So we sat in that room until it was time to go to bed. And I said, I ain't sleeping out here. I know it's nice and warm, but not as warm. And I went in the bed covers, and who else would come into my covers but my cats? I'm going to go in mommy's room and go sleep with mommy. Duh. I'm like, it's bad enough I don't have a husband. Now I got cats.
My husband hates the cats, and they are always the one that they go to. They
Yeah,
go to him all
exactly.
the time, and I'm like, "I'm the one that he wants to dump you guys at the pound. I'm the one saving your lives and telling him no, but you guys go to him. I don't understand."
Yeah,
I don't know if it's his side of the bed or, because the dog sleeps with me more and they're just avoiding her. I have no idea, but it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous that they love him so much. But do you remember that old 80s horror movie about a cat, like, when you're sleeping and the cat would steal your breath while you were
oh, I
sleeping?
heard about
So
that. That freaking scared the crud out of me. I saw that,
it
and
must have
the real point is, and I'm going to say it, cats do not drink baby's milk. No,
no, no,
no,
they
they
don't.
don't do that.
Formula does not smell or taste like regular milk, so
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't.
Oh,
Like,
let
I
me tell you a funny story. Go ahead. But I'm going to tell you a funny story about my son. Go ahead.
but they my husband wakes up and that's his nightmare. He's like, "I can't sleep. Your cat's trying to steal my breath." It's just my my son was like, "What the hell is he talking about?" So I had to send him a link to the movie, to the old movie, and be like, "Here, this is what he's talking about." And he's like, "This is so stupid." And I'm like, "I know that, you know that, but it's and he
That's
loves horror films. Like he's an ex-cop, so
yeah.
he can look at like when
You can
Charlie
watch
Kirk
the horror
passed.
and laugh at it.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's okay with it because he looks at things analytically. He looked at the videos of Charlie Kirk, and the first thing he told me was, "I don't want you Googling it. I don't want you looking. It's bad."
Mhm,
And
mhm.
because he knows that I get easily affected, and
Yeah,
he's like something's not right with that with what happened.
yeah,
And
no,
but I thought it was funny. This big, ex-Marine, ex-cop,
yeah,
you know, macho man is
yeah.
scared to death of the cat being in the room just because the cat wants to
That's
cuddle up
funny.
because he wants to be warm.
Let me tell you the story of my son, okay? Because you're talking about formula. Oh, this is going to be funny. I used to make powdered milk because, we were low income, and I couldn't afford the milk at that time. So I was making milk, and I always put it in this one pitcher. Well, one of my cans of formula broke. So I decided to use that same pitcher and put the
Oh
formula
no.
in it. And my oldest son comes out, grabs the pitcher, pours himself a drink, doesn't realize it's late at night, and he sips. And he's like, "Ugh." He comes walking in. He's like, "Ma, this milk tastes funny." I said, "Where did you get it?" And he goes, "Out of the pitcher." I said, "Kenny, no, that's the baby's formula." He's like, "Get it off my tongue." I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go." Hey,
He
Deidre.
must have been he must have been
He,
dying. Hi, Deidre. Oh my God, that is too funny.
I was just, after he did it, I just couldn't stop
Oh,
laughing. And he's like, "It's not funny. It tasted awful." I'm like,
it does taste awful.
"It
It
does
is not
taste
the same.
awful."
My my grandmother and my mom, when, in lean times, my mom would do it. She would save the milk for our cereal and our breakfast, and then she would make powdered milk for other things. Like for a while, my grandmother made bread with powdered milk because it's just dehydrated milk. There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with it.
right.
It's milk. It's just shelf stable milk, and so we remember my brother tried to make some because we were trying to make something. I think we were trying to make a cake or something like that, and um, my grandmother knows how to use just the powder and add in more liquid to the cake
Right.
mix to get what is done. But he didn't understand. So he made the milk in order to make the cake mix. And he put too much water. And then my mom and my grandmother were, like, in the dining room. They could not stop laughing, and then they're going back and forth like, "He made skim milk." I
I
remember
used
he,
to
like,
make it
did
in a
not
blender. I used
he
to
was
put it in
he
the
was
blender and pour it in the
see, that's
water.
smart. Yeah, see,
It's
that's
so much
how you
easier.
uh, yes. But, my brother's 2.5 years old my older brother's 2.5 years older than me and had no clue why
Of
they were
how to
laughing,
use it.
and I'm sitting there going,
That's
it's that they're talking
funny.
about that yucky, milk that my dad had to drink because he had a heart condition, and, it was, like, so funny. But I did that when my kids were, um when they were young. My youngest loved milk so much, and
I used
I
to
think
love milk. Now I'm
oh, it
lactose
was when
intolerant.
it was during 9/11, and we were, like, just preparing, stocking up on canned food, and because we didn't know what was gonna happen, right? I
Mhm.
bought powdered milk because I'm like, "My poor baby loves milk. Like, what is he gonna do if I can't get milk or I can't get to the store?" So, I bought some for our emergency kit just to be sure.
Right, right. That I mean, now that I've gone through the ice age, I can say that. Uh, I got to. I told my son a while back. I said, if I can food, we would, in case anything happens, we can, make stuff with the canning food. And
Yeah.
my son's like, no, you don't have to worry about it. It's not going to get that bad here. What happened just now? He's
Well,
like, well, I guess so. But now we got food. He's like, you don't have to worry about the about going out because I bought food. Old man was hilarious. Our old man, my old man. I call him an old man. I take care of. He's not my father. He's not my husband. Thank God. I don't think I can handle that. Um, he's too nuts. He's crazy. But he he is stubborn as a goat. Nobody really likes him. He's just a downright jerk. Okay, he knows it. He says, "Heaven won't take me, and hell's afraid I'll take over." And I believe that one. But
I used to say that in high school because I thought it was funny. And my grandmother used to
yeah,
get so mad. She's like, "That is not a funny thing." And I'm like, "It's hysterical." She's like, "No, no, it's not." Like, I understand now why it's not, but I remember
yeah,
thinking that
right,
was funny.
right. But so, uh, I was sitting there. I'm like, I'm like, we don't have any eggs, and he's like, wait, what? What do you mean we don't have any eggs? Because uh that Monday, was it yesterday? Yesterday was Monday, yeah. Yeah. No, no, no. Tuesday was yesterday. So Monday. Monday morning, I didn't have any food really. So I took the eggs. I have a cast iron skillet. I buttered that thing so it couldn't be buttered anymore. And I mean slobbed it on. Put it over the um propane fire because it's a fireplace, a propane. I put it over there, let it fry for a little bit. I didn't put the eggs in yet. Then I said, okay. So I cracked some eggs and put them all in there. And I made scrambled eggs for everybody. And everybody's like, wow, this is actually good. I said, like, duh. I know how to make scrambled eggs. So,
Yeah, when you
as
can
the
whip air into
day,
them, they're really good.
huh?
When you can whip air into the eggs, when you're making scrambled eggs, that's what makes them nice and fluffy.
Yeah, they were nice and fluffy. But so after that, he's like, I want some eggs. I said, I used the last of them so they wouldn't go bad in the refrigerator. He's like, does the neighbor have eggs? I said, no. You want me to run out and grab ourselves a chicken? Because I ain't got no eggs. So the neighbor calls and goes, ask her if she has any eggs. She doesn't have any eggs. Nobody has any eggs. Stop with the eggs. I'm yelling at him at this point. And he's like, I want some eggs. I'm like, no. If you say eggs one more time when I
Well,
get them, I'm going to squish them on your head. I said, stop
that's
asking for eggs.
those
Oh,
are 2 things that I think it's smart for everyone to have uh, in their pantry, their emergency pantry, powdered eggs and powdered milk.
Oh, I never thought about the powdered eggs. That's a great idea. And then he wouldn't ask me anything. See, he can't eat normal food. He
Ah,
he has to look like baby food. So for the past few days we had to think of something that he could eat, that he could swallow, when I have him to worry about it. And Akira, by now, he's 96 years old. I don't think he cares about any kind of egg. It could be an ostrich egg and he wouldn't care. But so we gave him some tomatoes and okra and all this other stuff that we have. He's like, "Do we have beans? Do we have this? Do we have it?" I said, "Am I a restaurant now?" He's like, "I want some of this. I want that." I said, "Okay, I'll just get on my scooter and fly to the store. Thank you." It's a freezing outside, first off, and second off, I can't get out of the driveway. Oh, we were having a fight. It wasn't a fight. I was explaining it to him. And yesterday, what's the first thing out of his mouth? Do you have any eggs? See if one of the neighbors have some eggs. I want some eggs. I said one more word about eggs. I'm going to find myself a chicken that lay on your head. Oh, I was so mad. It's cold. I'm cold. Everybody's cold. And you want eggs. Good granny. Oh, it was what a day. I mean, it wouldn't be so bad. Of course, then the cat came up on my lap and I wrapped her in the blanket and she fell asleep. And my son comes walking in from shoveling outside. He's like, "Can you help me with the shoveling?" Never mind. You got the cat on your lap. I'm like, I got that one really good. Because I got a cat on my lap. Don't move the cat. But yeah. So now you know we are fine, except for water. No water. I know he's going to say something about that because he wanted to take a shower that night when the electricity went off. I said, "Yeah, unless you want to use cold water." Now we've got
yes,
no
old man
water.
Gibbs is saying canned milk, it when we had our water shut off for a while, I had stocked up on gallon of just cheap water from the store. I think they're like 99 cents
Mhm.
at this time or 79 cents. And I ended up using them to make for the cats, you know, when we didn't need them to actually wash our hands or anything. I ended up using them for the cats and the dogs' water, so it was like nice and convenient. Like you never go wrong with having at least a gallon or two of bottled water.
Yeah.
I do that now with I buy a gallon of uh, distilled water and I use it to make my ice. That way I don't have to worry about my ice machine going
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. Well, I bought 3 gallons of water and I have 2 extra gallons of water. And I've got a, a big package of regular water. And I've got a few more bottles of water. There's water all over the house, okay? We're okay with the water
Good.
until they,
I
you know, and I'm like, how am I supposed to pee in in garbagey black brown water? And my son's like, "You."
You don't look. Just
That's
don't look.
exactly what he
Just
said.
go.
Just don't look. I'm like, "Ugh." I said, "Now, how am I supposed to take my shower? I finally get electricity on. Now I have no water." And I said,
Well,
I said, "God, just take us home now, so we don't
yes,
have to deal with
please.
this anymore." Yeah,
Exactly. Um in the Big Island where I'm from, there's a lot of places, the remote places that are on what's called catchment. So if you don't catch the rainwater, that's like you don't have water, or you have to have it trucked in.
yeah.
And there was near the volcano. There's there was a learning center. There was a I don't I guess it's called like a camp, and
Mm,
you would go there for I think here in the mainland they do outdoor education. So, for 1 week in 5th grade, like my sons went to the Sierra, the Santa Cruz Mountains with all the redwoods, and
mm,
there's a camp up there that they get to stay at. Well, bunk houses and you got to pack them up like it's a camp for 5 days, and um, they loved it. They get to do. In fact, it was so it's like a big deal. This is the first time kids like sometimes it's the first time that kids actually stay, go away from home. My when my daughter went, uh, she was super excited. She gets a little bit of she had a little bit of separation anxiety, but she ended up going and um, we had told her, well, if she really misses us, they can call home. And after
mm,
she got there, they're like, you know what, we're going to really recommend that you don't because the more that she gets used to not hearing you, the better off she'll be. And um, it was true. By day 2, she didn't think about us. She was good. And then she came home raving. I guess the campgrounds have a garden, an organic
mm,
garden that the kids work in every single day. So they work, they clean the garden, they do everything, and they all tied into lessons, of how to take care of a garden. And the kids pick the fresh vegetables for the next meal. And she came home ranting about like this girl did not touch vegetables with a 10-foot pole. Like if you had seen that girl in a sprint, it was because a vegetable was coming at her. She was like so excited. The vegetables were so delicious. They were so amazing. And I'm sitting there going, they're just vegetables. Like, but I think it was because she got to work in the garden and she got so excited about it.
right.
When my son got to go, he was like super, super thing. But so he came home and he goes, Mom, I felt so bad for the girls. And I said, why? He goes, because you can't like, we had to like pee and not flesh. We had to let like 3 people go and you had to, when you leave, you had to tell them I'm number 1 in the line or I'm number 2 or I'm number 3. And then number 3 person knows after they go, they flush. Like just if they pee, and I was died laughing because the boys thought it was hysterical. The girls were like, "Oh my God, really?" And it's just so funny between the differences between kids. But
Yeah, it's like so weird how the boys don't care, but the girls
no,
like,
they don't
ew,
because I
nasty.
think because they get to stand and be away
I
from it. We have to
know that
get a
makes me
little
so
bit
freaking
closer. It's
mad.
not that comfortable, but
What
boys are
was
just more
God
resilient.
thinking when He made us? What the heck?
I
Why don't
have
you give
I
us an
have some
outdoors
design.
faucet for crying out loud? I would love to have an
I
outdoor
have I
faucet.
have some serious I seriously have some design problems that I wanna take up with God,
Yeah, me too.
not just the plumbing issue, but, how about, when we give birth, like, he couldn't, like, design a zipper to get them out? Like, why do we have to suffer like that? That's
Be
just
very
wrong, and I'm
careful
gonna have a
if you
very
say that to him. He's gonna say, "Did you want me to have you take it out of your mouth?"
I'm gonna have a very, very stern conversation with 2 people when I get
Yeah.
to heaven. First is gonna be Eve.
Yeah.
And if any other ladies wanna join me, you're welcome. The second
Or what?
conversation is
Yep.
gonna be with the sadist who created pantyhose. So, those are the 2
Oh,
people
yeah.
I'm looking in heaven, but, it's like, if you think about it honestly, our bodies are a complete miracle. The way that, the
Yeah,
symmetry
they
and
do work great. I mean, like, when you yawn, you're giving 3% of oxygen to your brain. That's why you're yawning, because your brain needs the oxygen.
that I need to yawn more.
Yeah, you need to
I've
yawn.
been
I
I
I
get
got a bag of rocks up here, so I don't need to worry about yawning at all.
I have been so exhausted. I don't know about anybody else. I don't know if this
We're
is
all
something
tired.
spiritual.
We're all wiped out. I feel like I ran a marathon and I went to the store and the gentleman who took me, his name is Larry. And so he rides around in his cart while I'm shopping. He goes, "Go ahead and shop. Go ahead. I'll catch up to you. I'll find you." I said, okay. And knowing that I had to run, well, he didn't ask me to run. He says, just take your time. Don't worry about it. I went flying all over the store, grabbing everything I could find. I was a mad woman. And I got to him. He said, do you know that took you 8 minutes to buy all that food in your cart?
Aw.
And I said, yeah. He goes, my wife takes an hour and a half. You're going to have to teach her something. Hey, Sunday, you missed all my pictures. You're going to have to look later. But,
Deidre actually mentioned something here that I want to talk about after when you're done.
well, okay. Yeah, so then he came with me. He's riding his little scooter thing. And it's okay, sweetie. So I'm standing at the register and he's like, it's one of those self thing registers, and he's like, how about, can you bag? And I said, yeah. He goes, well, I'm going to send it to you and you bag. I said, okie dokie. So he kept doing it. It was hilarious because he's doing it. And he goes, I hate this thing. I hate this technology. I said, why? He goes, you have to scan it, put it on the belt, and wait till it goes to the next belt before you can scan the next one. What the heck? He goes, I thought these things are supposed to be good. I said, well, yeah, no. I don't like it any more than you do. So by the time I stocked up, in the middle of it, he's like, let me go get another cart. Like, okay. He was nice enough to go get me another cart. And then I went over and started scanning stuff while he got the cart, and he came back and goes, let me finish. I said, okay. Now I'm putting it in. And you remember, Larry's like 78, 80 years old. And he always has a cigar in his hand. So once we got all stocked up, he goes, can you push this cart out and I'll push ours? I said, yeah, sure. He didn't have anything. He didn't buy anything. His wife says, pick up water. He goes, just go outside and get the snow. That's plenty of water. She goes, yeah, right. Like, oh, what a pair. She's mad at him because he didn't pick up water. Okay, go ahead.
Well, Deidre unfortunately has kidney
stone. Yes, poor little thing.
Yes. So I went through some pretty horrific kidney stone drama last year. I'm still going through it. So when they put me in for they sent me in for a CT, and they're going to see if they could see everything with it, just a regular CT, because I don't react very well to the contrast. And it's kind of funny. My son, if anybody remembers to pray for, please pray for my son Max. Um, he's having health issues, and to be honest, I think he has the same metabolic disorder I do. He's just struggling with the symptoms. And he wants answers. And I'm like, I hate to tell you this. I've looked for answers my whole life. I don't know if my symptoms range from so many things, from lupus to uh, gout to rheumatoid arthritis, metabolic syndrome X. So many things, and I think it's because it's a storm of things that happens. Sometimes one issue is more pressing than the other, and that's why you chase that symptom. And he's really struggling. He accepted Jesus when he was 7 in April of 2008, right the day before his first communion. But he's like any other 20 25-year-old. He's he hasn't come to the place where he knows he needs Jesus. But he had kidney stones. When he had them, it was pretty pretty normal. He passed it. It was all okay. And it was fine, and he was done. So in I think it was before 4th of July, I knew something was wrong from that January, to be honest. But I'm the type that, I get like, well, we're going to win in the like I was totally banking on Repo Man's March 16th or 17th
Yeah,
date.
I know.
Like, I don't need to go chase this. I'm going to be gone. It's not going to be a big deal, whatsoever. So one of the things when they put me in for this CT, the doctor was a little confused. He's like, I would really like to do a contrast, but since your kidneys are having problems right now, I don't
Mm.
want to overload your body with the contrast having to filter it when you're already having issues. He's like, so we're just going to move forward with this. So they saw several small stones. And he goes, I hate to say this, but it looks like sand in your kidneys.
Wow.
And there were stones on the right side that were big, and he said that you might have it 2 centimeters and 3 centimeters, and then a two or millimeters, whatever it is, and
Mhm.
another two on the left side. And
Goodness.
he said, if he's like, if your gout diagnosis was correct, your kidneys could be full of uric acid crystals,
Ooh.
and they're crystallizing and forming what looks to us like sand. And I'm like,
Mm.
great. Like, what am I gonna do? Um,
Suck it out.
so it was, and I've never I didn't even tell Derek this when we talked about it because it
Mm.
was like the story was just so complicated. And
Yeah,
um,
right.
but if any of you watch Repo Man, you'll know that Repo Man fought for over a year. Mike fought for over a year with a five
Take it with you.
to six
Right.
5 to 6 centimeter stone, which is
Mm.
5 is when they will do surgery. Like if it's a little
Right,
more than
right.
5, but because it was moving in him, they're like, well, we're going to let it like naturally pass. And poor thing, he'd be in the middle of a video and all of a sudden stop and be like, oh, that kidney stone. And when I got diagnosed with mine, the first thing I did was message Repo Man, and I'm like, you're not going to believe this. Like, I don't just have one stone. I really had three at the time, but I had two on the right side, and I think he only had one on the right side. So I created I wrote a song, of course, because the strangest things make me laugh. And it's called Anything. You know that song, Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better?
Yes.
So I wrote Anything You Can Groan, I Can Groan Harder.
Yeah, I
And
remember hearing that. I'm like, "That is funny."
it's like sort of like a contest, right? He's in the hospital first, and then I arrive, and I'm showing him up because it's like you've got one stone, but I've got two, one on each side. And
Mhm.
and I'm being dismissive, right? Oh, bless you. And then it shows this scene of like the comparing of our kidneys. And you'll see mine with all of these small little stones in them, and then you'll see his, and it's like a gigantic boulder.
That's
so,
funny.
so we talked back and forth about it. So I did the song, and I thought it was hysterical. And I'm like, oh, I was the problems that I was having was terrible back pain.
Mm.
The muscles in my back were so irritated from the kidneys that my back spasms. And I'd never had that before. Like
Mm.
I'm telling you, I was pushing my grandson in a stroller, and I could barely walk. And it
Mm.
was the hardest thing in the world. And I was like, I'm determined to take him and the kids all the way down from my daughter's driveway, all the way down the road to the stop sign and back. Like I'm like I told the kids, I was like, Grandma needs to go exercise. And they're,
Yeah.
of course, they want to come with me. And I'm like, let me take the baby, because then I can lean on the stroller. And by the
Yeah,
time I
right.
came back, my daughter put her hand on my back, and she goes, your back is solid like a rock. And at the time, I didn't know it was spasming. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I've just been, it COVID and working from home too much. I just kind of chalked it up to that. And when they gave me the muscle relaxers for it, and my back actually started loosening, it was like incredible pain because it just laying, like, there's no position you can lay in that leaves you comfortable. But um, it was pretty awful for a while. They gave me like they gave me oxy,
Mhm.
something like a light dose because it hurt just so bad. And I'm telling you, I don't wish it on the worst person, but it
Right.
wasn't until October that I actually had pain, um, that I could feel one of the stones moving. And it
Wow.
took three days to go from my kidney to passing through into my bladder. And the pain that I felt, although it was like an ectopic pregnancy. It was
Yeah.
awful.
It was, yeah,
But
kinda like
I
you
did
did spasms.
Yes, like, so that was one of the things that I read, like, you have to increase your acid to help break down things. So I don't like I have very bad stomach problems. So I can't do, if I do again, I've been drinking lemonade recently because I'm having gout issues again, and
Oh
uh
dear.
it kills my stomach. I get the worst heartburn. I mean, it's like if it's not one
Okay.
thing, it's another.
I got you with the heartburn bit. I got you. What you can do for that is it's kind of like an acid reflux type of thing. It's
Yep,
almost
that's what
like
it is.
Tums, but see, from a, so to speak, herbal practitioner kind of person, because that's what I'm going through right now. If anybody has any kidney problems, lemon juice and water, just mix it together. That way it's less acidy, which is what's giving you heartburn. And,
Uh,
equal parts of lemon juice and equal parts of water. Mix it together, drink it, and I guarantee your kidneys will start feeling better. I know it sounds crazy. Um, Isaiah
no, it does.
one,
It because it helps
hmm?
flush it out.
Yeah,
It helps flush it out. The only
right.
problem is if I do that, I end up I end up with ulcers.
You're just falling apart, dear. We need
Totally.
to get you home.
I need to get out of here. I'm
Yes.
telling you, like it is back when I had my kids, my mom gave me the old baking soda and water, and I thought she was
Oh,
crazy. And I'm like, this is not, because my son was reacting to broccoli that I'd eaten. And she's like, here, drink this. And I'm like, well, how is that going to help my milk? Like this, and I appeased her, right? Because from where I grew up, you don't
don't argue
do what
with your
you
elders.
no, yes, you do what they say. So I'm drinking this disgusting water stuff, and I take it like a shot, and then I start burping like crazy, very unladylike, very unwomanly like, but it just I couldn't help it. And it were big burps, not little soda burps. It was real big burps.
Yeah,
And I thought it was ridiculous. And then suddenly my son stopped. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. She was right. Like it worked. But there is
yeah.
what I wanted to tell Deidre was there is an herb called the stonebreaker. And I will give you a link to where I bought it in Amazon. And it was one of those where you can get it like the very next day. But this herb breaks down not just kidney stones, but uh, like I also have gallstones. It breaks those down too. And I took that in one of the first indications that I knew, like that the doctor's theory about my kidneys being full of uric acid. I could not stop going to the bathroom. Like I kept peeing, And so when I reported back to him on my follow up, and I'm like, okay, I took this herb, and here was the reaction from it, and he's like, well, that kind of confirms it because that means your kidneys are finally flushing out. And but it worked. I gave it to Mike, and I'm like, here, you got to try this. This actually helped me. He's like, up, I already did that. Like my stone didn't respond to it. I'm like, oh, you
Hmm.
poor thing, But it is not fun. The 3 days that stone was actively moving down the ureter, it was like all I could do was crawl up in a ball in bed. I could
Mhm.
not, I couldn't, I could barely move. And this is the time I was working and I had to drive to work 3 days
Oh,
a week. I was dying,
I bet.
but I will be praying for you. I put my email in the chat, and it's very, if anybody wants to email me, go ahead. It is a specific email for the Joy Team Ministry. So, it's nice and easy to remember. But I'll send you a link because it'll help. You could have a reaction like Revo Man and it not really work, but it helps. So yeah, Kira says lemon juice and ginger tea and green tea with honey and pepper, like that.
Yeah,
That's
that
actually
really
what I just
works.
bought yesterday
Yeah.
from there's a Asian store called Ranch 99. It's got some of the closest things to Hawaiian food or what I'm used to in Hawaii. here, and
Mhm.
I got from them ginger and honey crystals that I could just put in hot water to drink. Like that was really good last night. I drank that and it was nice and soothing.
And yes, Sunday, as you can tell, this is my live saying, yes, I got my electricity back, but then my the water pipes all broke, not in my house, but the main pipes in somewheres in Nashville just exploded, and everybody doesn't have water now. We got electricity, but we don't have water. It's like if one thing happens, then there's another, and then there's another, and it just keeps going until we get to God, and then it'll be over.
I don't know if this is a you know thought process to make us like glad we're home. I just want to get home. Like
We're
I
going to home. I mean, everything going on. Now, I haven't been on in a couple of days, and I missed a couple of days. And a friend of mine says, "You have got to hear what's happening." I'm like, I hate to tell you this, but I have no electricity, so I can't find out what's going on. She's
yeah.
like, you gotta look this person up. You live, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, stop, just stop. I'll catch up on all my goody stuff. Now, here, I'll make you laugh. Old man, he loves his TV. Okay, so we're all going to bed, and boom, we got electricity comes on. Old man's like, I want to go watch TV. I'm like, you're supposed to be going to bed. He's like, nope, I'm going to watch my TV. Like, so the old man, so
I
my
don't blame
son always takes care of him. So he takes him out, he lets him watch the TV. I say, I got to shut the door because my daughter, Julia, is trying to sleep. And that is so loud, I can hear it all the way to my room. And I'm all the way down the other end of the house. He goes, oh, I'll turn it down. I'll turn it down. I said, yeah. And then you'll turn it right back up. You'll turn it right back up. So,
Is he watching off the TV?
hmm?
Is he
What?
watching off of the TV or a
Yeah.
computer
He's
or
got TV, but he doesn't wear his hearing aids.
oh, I was gonna say they do have uh, headphones that you could Bluetooth to the
I
television
would
because
love to
that's
do that, but he don't. 96 years old.
ouch.
So
I have
they don't know anything about technology. And then look,
well,
it went from 7 to 9. What's up with that?
there's
I'm
people
watching
coming
how
in
many
and out.
people come in. Hmm?
Well, if you've ever had to use hearing aids, I got them thinking that it would help with the sounds outside, and it does. Like it helped with uh being able to hear birds in it. Like I went in for a fitting the very first time I even considered hearing aids because I was born with a middle ear hearing loss. And
Mm.
they put them in and they took me outside and they like, you know, how does it sound, you know, traffic and everything. And I was just shocked because I could suddenly hear birds. And
Wow.
I never like I hadn't heard that in years and it was just shocked me just how just the sound like I was like is this what I'm missing? And if you've ever had noise canceling headphones, which is I love them, especially for work, because I can't deal with the sounds of other people doing things. Like I got to focus and I have to concentrate. But
Mm.
for me, hearing aids like amplified the sounds around my head, which were
Ooh.
annoying. You
Yeah.
know, like chewing and you know, slight movements. And I'm like, I would
Yeah.
take them out just because it was like, you know, it was just like this is too much. And there's on YouTube, there's a girl, there's a Christian family, the Deal family that I watched or used to watch their videos. And she's deaf. The oldest daughter is deaf, and she has a cochlear implant. So there's times where you know she gets overstimulated, and she just you know sticks her hearing aid to the refrigerator and goes in her room. And I'm like, I know exactly what you're feeling, girl. And she's like 13. I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's times where I'm like, I put my headphones on just to make my husband sound softer Like, I don't wanna
Yeah.
hear you talk, like, stop asking. He's the kind of person, if you are an Avengers fan like I am, I do not take him to Avengers movies. Not because I don't love him or I don't love spending time with him, but because the man will not stop asking me questions when I'm trying to listen to the movie. He's like, "Shut up." I'm trying to hear
Oh,
like, all of
dear.
my focus and concentration is on what they're saying and
So
what
what
is
what
what
you
you
should
know?
do, this is what you should do. You go watch the movie about twice. And then you bring
Exactly.
him so that when he asks you a question, you already seen this part. Let me tell you what's
Yes.
coming up next. Let me tell you the ending. I'll blow him off.
He's he's so, like I'm like, "You have" like, you were I told him, I was like, "You are so far behind," that, he wanted to watch Infinity Wars, and I'm like, you can't like, there's so much going on in Infinity War that if you don't know these little subplots, like, he thinks Guardians of the Galaxy is hysterical, which is great. But if
Man,
he's never seen Doctor Strange and, he's never seen the others, and he didn't read comic books as a kid. I think he
are
read
you
Spider-Man, but
serious?
that was it. Yes. I looked at him, I said, "What was
I read
wrong with
comic books when I was
you?"
a kid.
I loved
Goodness.
com and my grandmother, my grandparents were born in the Depression, so they held on to everything. She held on to my aunts and uncles and my mother's comics. So I grew up reading Wendy the Witch, Casper the Friendly Ghost,
Yep,
Archie and,
yep,
all of the classics. And it was
yeah,
so like, it was so wonderful that when I see these new the Avengers, the new Avengers comics or Iron Man and Spider-Man, I'd be like, "This is so cool." Like I
yeah.
hadn't seen these before. And everybody's like, "Well, you said you read comics." I'm like, "Well, how do I tell you I've been reading comics from my aunts and uncles from, 10, 20 years prior." But it's a fun thing for me. And I'm like, I was like, "You got to get up to date on your Marvel movies, buddy." Like
Mhm.
it, uh Endgame happened. I think we're like, what, 5 years away from Endgame? And now
Yeah,
Doomsday is coming, and now we have like a year. Like, I'm never gonna see Doomsday. I already know. I'm
yeah.
fine with
You
it.
will when you're up in
I'm
heaven.
fine
You
with it.
will. You'll
I
be
hope
like,
so because I really want to. I
God, I want to do something. Can I just take my TV over here and watch this? And he'll be like, take it in your bedroom, take it to your house, and go sit down and don't ask me. Just go do it.
we'll have a screening and watch it together. But it's, you know, it. So there's a year between now and when Doomsday comes out,
Hmm.
and I told him, I'm like, you're gonna have to catch up. Like if you wanted, there is a drive-through here in California. There's a couple of, I think there's like 3 or 4 here in California, which is, we love going to. We've taken our kids to them when they were young. Um, in fact, we used to go with my husband's best friend who passed away, and the man was such a grouchy old thing. He asked my husband to pick up lounge chairs cushions. So we had like 5 of them laying on the back seat of the car when, his friend called and he's like, "Hey, let's go to the movies. Let's go see this. Let's go see this at the drive-through." And my youngest was like, "Okay, well, I want to go with you." And this was a more adult movie, but I'm never going to say not in. It's just it wasn't a cartoon and it wasn't a kids movie. So it was, when he said he wanted to go, I was like, "Okay, no problem." And I'm sitting there thinking, what am I going to do with all these stupid lounge cushions in the back seat? What does the kid do? He stacks them all up, puts them in the middle, and lays on them. So the entire time we're in the 2 front seats, and he's laying down on all of these mattresses, looking in between us, watching the movie. So I would love to take my husband to something like that and being able to watch it with him, but I'm like, I'm not going to sit there explaining who Doctor Strange is and what his power is. And, like now he's got to watch the Loki series because this is
Oh
going to get tied
no.
into the timelines and the multiverse. I'm like, I don't have time to explain
Your
this to you. I don't
word.
have time to explain to you. I love Loki, by the way. I think Loki is hysterical.
No, don't bring up
Um,
that name. I got a cat named that.
I know that's what I love. I'm like, as soon as you told me that, I'm like, oh,
He's
I love
black
you.
with green eyes. That's why we called him Loki. And he's just like Loki, seriously. He's mischievous and he drives Tally crazy. So he'll
I
walk up to her and go, meow, and she'd be like, and run off. I
Like, I don't
don't
want to
know
deal
what
with
it
you today.
was, but he must have said something that turned her off.
Probably just didn't want to deal with his crap. I was one of the first people that when by the time I think it was Age of Ultron came on, and I had been watching the original Avengers, and I was like, it's interesting. Loki's eyes were extremely blue in Avengers,
Mhm.
and I was like, but if you watched uh Thor and Thor Dark World, his eyes were not that blue. And I was like, I'll bet you anything he was under the power of the Tesseract too, but not the same way. Not through the scepter that you know Clint Barton was and the Doctor was. And I just made that like common thing, and at the end of it was in I think it was Endgame where they actually said that it was Thanos that had sent Loki to Earth with the scepter to get the time stone, to get the Tesseract. And I was like, I knew it. I freaking knew it. Like there's Marvel does there are so many things in the movies that you have to pay attention to that if you when you're watching another movie, it makes you stop and go, wait a minute, why did they mention that? And you've got to go back to the other movie to find out what it was.
Exactly. It's kind of like, I mean, I don't like them. It's the soap operas. Oh, I hate the soap operas. I just don't, it's just, but everybody, friends of mine used to sit around and watch the soap operas. So what happened? Who'd she marry? Who'd she cheat on? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, you do know these are not real. They do not exist. This is just, yeah. And they just get mad at me for saying that. And I'm like, okay, you go your way, and I'm going to go my way. And I'm not going to sit in here while you all blabbermouth about all my children or days of my life. I'm like, because if I have to sit in there and do my break at the time way, 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 way back, before I came here in this house, they'd sit there and watch other, and I'm like, oh, okay. So if you miss 2 days, you're like,
You're out.
yeah,
You could be completely lost
what
in two
happened?
days.
Where'd you go? Now I have to go look at the whatever.
Oh,
But
well, it was worse. It was worse back when I remember I think I was in 5th grade and I was my grandmother got me into I'd always watched General Hospital with them. But I got caught in one of the storylines to the point where I had the VCR set to record, and then there were times where like my brother would try to stop it, and I get so angry because back then there was no, oh, you could go look it up online or you could go watch a
right,
recap. Like there wasn't any of that. If you didn't watch it, you missed it. The
right.
end. You don't know what's happening. And that's why if you watch the older versions of the soap operas, you'll see that they go over some material over and over again. It's because back then you didn't have that ability to rewind or play it again, or it was one shot and done. And um I I loved it, like, I loved all of the I loved General Hospital, that was my favorite, but I stopped watching because the drama became too much. It was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"This I can't deal with this at this
Life is
point in
already a
society."
drama. We don't need to look at more. Everybody's talking
It
about the bomb storm. I told you about it earlier, didn't I? Everybody's talking about it.
well, it's probably 'cause where is everybody from? Do we know where what states? We should probably keep a list somewhere just so we could keep track of
Yeah.
where everyone is, but I have a feeling these storms are not gonna stop. It's
I
gonna
got
be
these
one thing
feelings
after
it's
another.
pushing it's our the storms are pushing out so far the storms we had 17 people lost their lives. Um but there's a big storm, the big bomb cyclone, it's a snow ice water storm. It's massive. It's massive. And that's what's going to hit the East Coast. And I'm like, thank God I got out of that. Now, hold on. I got you. Now we have earthquakes, we have tsunamis, we have all the stuff, right? We also have the measles came back, the mumps came back,
Yay!
and oh, there was another one. Not only the flu, but there was another. pestilence that just came back, and they're all
Yep.
talking
Let's
about
go
this,
pestilence.
and I'm like, this is the time that it's good,
Hmm.
and we're going after
Exactly.
Iran now. Come to find out, we're going after
Oh, yes.
Iran. So that means that we're, we're going home. Maranatha,
Yep.
ladies and gentlemen, because all this stuff is everything in Matthew 24, all of it. And
Uh-huh.
it's supposed to be for the Jews to see what's going on, but they're not looking. They're not looking at that, but we are. And I'm like, ooh, can you just imagine at this point, measles, mumps. I know there's another one besides the flu and pneumonia.
Let's
All
go
these,
pestilence.
and then you got all the earthquakes, and then you have all
Mhm. It's
the
all ramped
wars.
up.
It's
In
just
in 20 in 2020, my goddaughter's birthday is March 3rd. It's Girls' Day in Japan, and so we celebrated in Hawaii. So she was born on Girls' Day,
hmm,
and I had started a new contract, and uh, on her birthday, I kept hearing. I don't know if it was a dream. I don't know if it was an angel speaking to, it's like I just kept hearing shelter in place. And
hmm.
and it was like it was significant, like it was mulling in my mind over and over. By March 6th, I get a call early in the morning. My boss says, "Don't come into work. We're all going to work from home." And I'm like, "Okay, that sounds fun. That sounds great. Yeah, let's do that." I was super excited because I didn't
Hmm.
want to make the drive. It was a very awful drive for me. And 2 days later, I find out that somebody because the company that I was working for was a health company, that one of the team members came from China and had COVID, which is why they shut the office down.
Oh, and that's
And
where it started.
yeah, and I think it was by what, the middle of March, where uh, everybody was told to stay home, and nobody's going to work. And I'm sitting there like, I heard, and then they start saying it on the news, shelter in place. And I'm sitting there going, that's what I've been hearing. I knew this was coming. Like, I knew it. I knew something weird was happening, but I could not articulate it, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I thought for sure, like, we have to, something's going on, because, this is a pandemic. There hasn't been one for 100 years. This is significant. And if
Yeah.
you think about it, so many things have turned and changed since the world turned 2020.
Yep.
And I'm not saying superstitious about the year, just
Right.
since we
Well, I
are
mean,
20, it's
tomorrow,
12/12.
what we're going to be doing is, and Michael got me onto it. Thank you very much. Not only I'm going to be talking about the Mandela effect and the Matrix, and there's something else I wrote on there, and also how does Jesus fit into that? Where does when you see it, where does that all come from? And that's what's going to be tomorrow's uh, thing that we're all going to do. You better be there. And I don't know if Michael's going to come on. I doubt that because it's too fast. It's too early. But I figured a lot of people have been watching and asking, so, okay, what is Mandela effect? I'm like, wait, what? You know, or what is the matrix you're talking about? Wait, what? Because I knew of a friend of mine. She swears she was in the matrix. She swears she was in the matrix because she saw herself um, about half an hour before. She saw herself and she's like, wait, is that me? No, it can't be me because I'm right here. And she said, I walked over to where that person was, and that person had walked off. And when I turned, I saw me again, but in the opposite direction where I
Weird.
was. And she said, and it was like a loop. And she's like, it's like a matrix thing going on. And I said, yeah, it is. And I've been looking that stuff up because, so why is this happening? Because it's starting to really, yeah, conspiracies and things like that. All this stuff is happening now, even more so, which means, what's it mean? Let's say
We're
Maranatha.
yep, let's go home. I think
Mhm.
it's because of the agenda of the enemy. Because there are things that have been hidden that you know the entire reason World War started or World War III started was because of or two, sorry, um, because of what was happening to the Jews,
Mm,
and so and I honestly thought we will never see anti-Semitism again. Everybody is clued into the fact that we don't do this. We've lived through somebody who had some horrible, awful thoughts, and
mhm.
the world got together to try to get rid of him, so that we'll never see this again. And look at what we're facing right now.
Right,
It's
right.
it's so horrible. Like, um, my son had my older son had started dating this Muslim girl, and at first I didn't care. I mean, I wasn't
Mhm.
happy, but I didn't care. Um, but then he started talking about negative things about the Jews. I'm like, okay, first of all, boy, because you are not a man right now. This is not. I do not like what I'm hearing from you. You are a Jew. Like, you do understand. Like, how on earth is this girl's parents going to be okay with you because you are a Jew?
Yeah,
And um, I'm like, and then not, and to make matters worse, you were raised a Christian. So I cannot see this ending well. Like, I didn't want to tell him outright, because I don't want to break his heart. My boy was all about love. So if he
yeah,
was with someone, it was because he truly loved. And let me tell you, God gave that boy an infinite heart to love.
right.
And it was so hard to help him through. They did break up, but he's still affected by this point of view that has just poisoned this kid's really good heart. And he sends me videos all the time of these ICE raids, and oh, look at what ICE is doing, and ICE attacked an older couple, and I know that my son is watching that thinking that's horrible. You would never do that to an older person. But
Right.
his perception of looking at it from, hey, if you don't want to get run over, don't ram your car into a damn ICE agent.
Yeah.
And I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm not condoning
Although,
stupid people with stupid actions. They are under extreme stress. I,
mhm.
you know, I wouldn't take that job, but that's just me.
Yeah,
So, but still, like, we all have a part to play in what happens to us. But he sends me these things all the time, and I'm like, I don't know what to do to get him to see that there's two sides to every story.
right.
Like, I was raised. Um, I have my mom's youngest sister, who I'm very close to, raised me to think about all things. Like, she would quiz me. I'd call her up at 16 years old, and be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And with 16-year old, like, I just heard a song and it reminded me of you, so I thought I'd call you. And she'd be like, "Okay, where are you going to do when you get out of school? Or are you going to go to college? Are you going to go to college here in the island? Are you going to go to college somewhere else? And if you are, how are you going to get the money for this?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, why are you making me think about all this stuff? Like, you're killing me." I go, "Okay, well, I want to be a nurse like my great grandmother." She's like, "Okay, cool. Can you handle holding someone's hand when they die?" And I'm like, no. I'm not that kind of person. I'm too soft-hearted. I can't do that. Of course, I can now because I'm older, and I understand the grace of where they're going. Um, but she would always, like, anytime I say, "Okay, I decided this," she would go to the 180 opposite of it and be like, "Well, did you think about that?" And, and I'm like,
And it
I,
just
I, I-
blows your
you know,
mind. You're like, "Oh."
I can't make up my mind now because I can't. I'm always looking at all sides, and
Right.
it's a good thing. I think the Lord taught it to me for a reason. So
Mhm.
I'm grateful that I have that understanding. The hard part comes when you try to when you try to when you hear people and they're speaking with hurt and injustice in their hearts, and you can't sit there and say, "But there's this other side you're not looking at." It happened when everybody was against the police officers and they wanted to defund the police. my husband was a cop. My son-in-law is a cop, and I worry about him being on the street. I worry
Yeah,
about him being,
definitely.
you know, pulling people over. And the guy is 6'6", I think. Okay, when I hug this boy, and mind you, he's in his 30s. When I hug this boy, he like my head comes up to his like his chest or his stomach. It's hysterical,
He's
but
just huge.
he's
That's fun.
huge. Like, nobody's gonna put a drop on this man at all. But I worry about him, as a
You
mom
know,
and
he's
as
a
a
I'd be afraid if somebody that big was coming at me, gets out of his car. I'm like, what the heck is that, giant? Come on
like,
now.
I
Where's the
am
6 fingers?
I am not gonna play around with that. Like,
Mm.
I'm glad my daughter's tall also. So, I know the 2 kids will be, a good, nice height, but it's just that's the other thing I worry about too. If something happens to him, I was a child when, I was quote unquote 18. I had just turned 18. And it it nearly killed me.
Mm.
And to think if something ever happens to him, what the children will feel, and then to have the children hear things of people saying cops are bad, and
Yeah, right,
uh,
right. That's
like
horrible.
the
Yeah, I might just, you know what? I just might change my idea on how to for tomorrow. I might change something because everybody's bringing up, and I like that idea. They're bringing up that the Jewish calendar is to the 29th, and it's
is the
11/11.
festival, the Feast
So
of
I'm
Trees.
gonna change my thing around, and
Yes.
we'll talk instead of talking about that conspiracy garbage, which we don't know and don't need it anyways. We'll talk about the calendar with 11/11, and we'll look into that and see what we come up with. What do you think? Y'all like that one instead of all that conspiracy garbage that I always seem to I like it, but
It's
tomorrow
interesting.
is perfect. Yeah.
I think I'm
Everybody
interested in it
already says
too.
that. Yeah, I think
Because
everybody does the Mandela effect and all. That's you know what? That's Shane thing. That's a Shane thing.
that's a
That's not
black so I we could be
that's
black ducklings and talk about it a little bit, but I to go into
yeah.
deep dive,
We'll just
it's hard,
I'm
but
just
it's
gonna
because
take it off the table and go right for the 11/11
you're right. So
calendar.
if we're gonna talk about Festival of Trees, you've gotta watch Repo Man's last, uh, uh, thing, and his last video, and there's a few more that I'd seen. I've gotta go dig for them now. I kind of passed them off very, very lightly.
I wish I got
I
a
was like,
repo
"Oh, yeah."
man on here, but he never wants to come on,
I
so
have you emailed him?
yeah, several times.
I'll
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 let you
ask him. Well, I think
email.
the other thing that you have to think, he does work.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
like,
definitely, I
when
know.
he
So it's a certain
oh,
day so
what
he
day
can
was it? I
yeah.
woke up, it was a Saturday, and I woke up to messages from him. Like, he had just right when I woke up, he had sent me a message, and I was like, "Oh my god," Repo Man's awake. Like, I know he's in Florida, so of course he's awake before I am, but,
Yeah.
um, uh,
He's gonna get cold if he's
Repo
in
Man.
Florida. It's supposed to be
Oh,
20
I
degrees
know,
down
I know,
there.
we have to it
He's
was
gonna he's gonna be cold
it was
then.
on January 11th. He messaged me and he was like, "Hey, where was that video that you made of me?" And he's like, "I'm looking for it, but I can't find it." And I'm like, I've got on my channel, I've got and it's not perfect. I have to go fix it, but I've got playlists. So if you're a fan of Repo Man, there's a Repo Man playlist. So everything that he is in is on that playlist. And I have the same for Brother Derek, Brother Steven, um, Brother Chooch. I love Brother Chooch, although and I've emailed him a couple times. We don't get to talk a lot because he's really busy. But Brother Chooch has just a great sense of humor. Um, and then I have Shane, because Shane's in. I have one song that was dedicated right for Shane, and then there were just some that he was in, like the Cupcake Wars, and when I was praying for the watchman. So you'll see those, like if that person was starred in it or was in the video, you'll see them in a playlist. So I sent him the playlist and he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's a lot of videos. Can you just show me which ones it was?" So I had to send the it's so funny. I'm sitting here going like, I was like, okay, so obviously Mike's busy, but I had to send him a few and he was looking for something that he said it was something between mine and somebody else's video, but I'm the only one that does current uh, uh, videos on on the Watchmen. But it's just because there's things that you know
Mhm.
strike me, like um when what's his name, Mark went to go preach in the yeah, Chooch is from Talking Out Loud. Uh, when Brother Mark went to, he was invited to go for a prison ministry. Which is nice. You'd think,
Right,
okay, hey,
right.
that's great.
Which was funny. I
So
was like,
yeah.
"Did you actually do that to your poor father?"
Yes. So
Oh,
for
that
those who
was
don't
too
know,
funny.
he texted his dad with zero context of not, hey, I'm going to preach in a prison. He just told, text his dad, he's like, hey, I'm going to jail. And, and like just like waited to see what his dad was gonna say. And I loved his response.
Yeah.
Like what parent
Oh,
goes,
okay, good.
okay, well if you're gonna go to jail, then make sure you preach. You know, it was hysterical. And I've seen his dad, I've seen Pops in the lives, and he's actually responded to a couple of my comments. And this guy is amazing. Like his dad is so nice.
Yeah,
And he was like, I love your video. And I'm like, I really hope you like the song because it inspired not just something funny that we all catch the joke, right? We all know
mm,
the context behind how it was written. Um, but there's it's a song that if you just put it out there, everybody can relate to, right?
right.
And it ends with, Pops ain't playing because Pops is saved. How many of us have had grandparents that are like that? They don't play around. They're saved. They know what they're talking about. They
Yeah,
told you about the rapture. They told you it was going to happen.
yep,
They knew it was going to happen,
yep.
soon, and they're not joking. And I
Mm,
love that he didn't, you know, just go because I'm like that. My youngest son does that to me. He'll tell me stuff to make me go, oh my God, what's happening to you?" And it's, he does the same thing where he jokes around. And I've had to stop and go, okay, wait a minute. Is he really going to go to jail? Is there another context? Like my son has me on my toes all the time. Like
mhm,
so that's why I thought it was funny. Like this sounded like something my kid would do to me. So I'm glad that
right,
that Pops took it in a good context and was able to laugh about it.
right, right. Well, anyways, I I gotta get going because remember I have clothes that are piling up that I have to fold because I
Oh
got
no.
blessed. I did it this morning before the water shut off, and my
Thank you,
son's like,
Jesus.
so my son started his laundry and now it's still sitting in the water. He's like, I'm just gonna have to, deal with it. And I said, yeah, you're just gonna have to wash your clothes when the water comes back, which is
Yeah.
whenever. We don't know. So, but I got my clothes, most of them done. So remember, I usually wash my clothes on Monday, and I
At
couldn't wash
least
my clothes on Monday. So, I had a lot piling up. So I gotta fold them all and put them all away. Ugh. Then I gotta do my cats. My cats love to be fed, especially the fat one. Gotta feed the fat one.
yes. Connecting and disconnecting. I don't know why.
Why are you doing that? Don't do that. We're not off yet.
We're almost there, but at least, I mean, if you want to talk about blessed timing, you definitely have it because at least you got your shower, you got to do your laundry, you got to
Yep.
grab some food.
That's
You know,
Jesus.
the
That
Lord is
is
good.
Jesus. That is Jesus. You know, and get this one here. I'll blow you off before I go. Let me blow you all away on this one. I said, Lord, in Jesus' name, and I'm praying. I said, Lord, please put that electricity on at 7 p.m. tonight. This is last night. I said, please, Lord, let it be 7 p.m., not 12 p.m. like they're talking about. I thought it was going to be today. Please let it be 7 p.m. 7 p.m. on the dot. Boom, it came on.
Amen.
That's God. That's God.
That is
That's our
beautiful,
God.
Father. Thank you, Lord.
Yes.
I
So now I'm just praying for the water. I said, Lord, let the water come on tonight at 7 p.m. because you love sevens.
well, here's the thing. Like, somebody in the chat mentioned it. Sherry, that tomorrow is supposed to be 11/11 on the Jewish calendar.
Right. That's what I was going to use.
Yeah. So if we are home before we actually get to be live, then we will do our live all together in the same room.
Exactly.
We'll get
There
to actually we
bring
need
everybody together and have one big, and everybody. If we go home tomorrow, either before or during my life, I'm going to grab every single thing of popcorn, just throw it out into the crowd.
So when we gather there, with Jesus in the clouds, we need to have like a code word or something to scream out. Like I am hoping I have finished I think I finished the
drinking
game song. It was hard, and when you hear it, you'll understand why, because you can't just have a drinking game song without a response. So I made it with like a chorus to try to have a response in the background. So it took a while, but I'm like, I don't know what to do for a video to get this up and out. I might just try something easy and just get it out there because it's hysterical. I might just send it to Brother Derek and have him play it on the show tonight. So
that'd be good. Yeah, I
mean, it is for his. I did use a couple of random things, but it's almost all specifically for his audience and those of us that chat. So
yeah, that's gonna be cool. Awesome sauce. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, I also have to go pee.
All right, duty calls.
Duty calls. So tomorrow, I have switched it. I'm going to switch it around when I get on there. But if you haven't seen what I'm going to be putting up, you're all going to laugh because I had to make it a little crazy. And when Bae sees it, she's going to be like, what? It's going to be, it's going to be, the thumbnail that I put on there. Y'all gonna think it's just crazy because when I put on that thumbnail, you're gonna be like, what?
I'm gonna work on some backgrounds for you too.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll work on those.
I don't care if it's ducks or sheep or goats or anything that's farmy.
I'm gonna have to do something with the okra for Akira.
There you go. Yes.
And okra's in the song.
John needs it, Akira wants her wasabi and she wants her sushi.
Oh, great.
I had sushi once.
I love sushi, but island style. I am not a raw fish person. I've eaten it. I've enjoyed it when I was young. I'm at a stage in my life where texture is now a problem and I can't do fish. I can do it if it's thinly sliced, but I don't do raw salmon. I don't do I don't know what it is. Do it.
Read the chat for a second.
Oh my gosh. Are they creaming me or are they calling me?
Girl, I'm sick of okra. Oh boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to cut it short, but we're gonna get going. We'll all see you on Derek's channel. Now remember, I'm gonna be on not on Derek's channel. I'm gonna be in the chat and I'm gonna be throwing popcorn at y'all. So y'all better catch a thing of popcorn. And it's not going to be broccoli. Thank you very much. Ugh.
No more vegetables.
No more vegetables. All right, everybody. We got to get going. I have to go really bad. All right. Talk to you later. Thank you for coming. And I hope you enjoyed my talk. Have fun.
Bye-bye.